Welcome back. We head into our big stories, and the National Democratic Congress is warning the Electoral Commission to abandon any attempts at recollation, arguing that the EC has all the pink sheets of the 9 constituencies in contention in their custody to establish the veracity or otherwise of these declarations. Now, the EC in the presser yesterday had taken the decision outlining various infractions leading to the declaration of results in these constituencies. But the NDC accuses Madam Jean Mensah of panning to the dictates of President Akufo-Addo. We'll bring you some details of what they had to share. But let's come into the studio. We have Dr. Rashid Tanko joining the conversation. He is Deputy Head of IT and Research with the NDC. We also have joining the conversation Haruna Mohammed. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Haruna, a very good morning to you. Do we have Haruna Mohammed? Can you hear me, Haruna? Okay, so we'll try to get to Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary, but here we have Dr. Rashid Tanko in the studio. Also joining the conversation, of course, my in-house guest, Sweetie Abochi. Sweetie?
Yes, Ben. Dr. Computer, so I think we have Haruna, but we'll have to circle back to Haruna. We've heard from the EC yesterday, and gladly we are going to hear from Dr. Computer in the studio this morning in terms of what really are your reservations when it comes to the recollation of these, the results from these 12 constituencies, but 9 specifically. What are your issues?
Very well. Let me say good morning to your cherished viewers and to the good people of Bimbila. I wish them well. Dear, it's a simple, straightforward thing. The election is governed by CI 127. Everything about this year election and that of 2020 was governed by this. This year election is governed by the same CI. We have not amended this CI. So whatever we are doing this year is mirroring what happened in 2020. So what we couldn't do in 2020, you cannot do it in this year because the CI has not been amended. I'll give you an example. Why we are seriously against what they are doing, the illegality this electoral commission is perpetrating. In Tekima South in 2020, there was vandalism. In fact, even people died at the collation center. In the midst of this vandalism, the returning officer was made to declare the MPP parliamentary candidates winner. So we said no. There was no proper collation because a lot of things happened. People's lives were lost. And so our leader then, Haruna Idrisu, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, wrote to Madam Jean Mensah asking for a recollation of the results. Madam Jean Mensah replied and indicated in the letter, we have the letter, if you have time I can read the letter, that recollation is allowed in all the process before declaration. But after declaration, recollation cannot be done. This was Madam Jean Mensah in 2020. So we said, fine, if that is your position, we have no, but that's why we abandoned the Tekima South matter. Now in this year, collation has been done. In the process of the collation, none of the candidates asked for recollation. They waited until when the returning officers declared the results publicly, and that they've realized that they've lost the election miserably. They now ran to Madam Jean Mensah, asking for recollation. So, and they are acceding to that. What has changed? That's the question we are asking. What has changed? If you go and take PNDC law 284, where the CI came from, this is a mother law where the CI emanates from. Section 20 of it, how elections of parliamentary results are nullified. And it's specified very clear. I want to read the section 20 of that aspect for you to, and the general public, to see the illegality Madam Jean Mensah is involved in. And that's why she doesn't want you, the media, to ask her questions. I'm ready. Just give me a minute.
While you get to it, just
20. I've seen it here.
Right.
That is section 20 of PNDC law 284. Grounds for cancelling election results. One of the grounds, the election of a candidate shall be declared void on an election petition if the High Court is satisfied that general bribery, general treating, general intimidation, which Madam Jiminy Mensah is saying that their returning officers were intimidated, that under duress, general intimidation or other misconduct or circumstances, whether similar to those specified in this law or not, have so extensively prevailed that they may be reasonably supposed to have affected the results of the election.
All right, you have.
Is it Madam Jiminy Mensah who has this power to interpret this?
Two things. You're saying that the call for recollation is not backed by Constitution.
It's not backed by
and that
Constitution.
last election year, when you wrote to the East Electoral Commission, she refused. And so you think that the NPP or whoever is challenging the results should go to court?
That is what we're saying. We are saying that.
Let's get to your counterpart on the other side, and then we'll come back in the studio. Haruna, good morning. Can you hear us?
Good morning, sweet.
Great. Ben was coming to you in a bit. Ben.
Okay.
Haruna, so you've heard some of the reasons, the ground for which the NDC feels that recollation shouldn't happen, and that the EC is being hypocritical because, like he mentioned, in 2020 in Techiman South, there was that incident. And in fact, the leader then of the NDC caucus, Haruna Idrisu, wrote to the EC asking for recollation on the back of what had happened. And people died there. Over there, nothing like that happened. Are you against this call?
Thank you very much. I would say good morning to your cherished viewers and good morning to my brother, Dr. Tanko Rashid. I think that the Electoral Commission's decision yesterday was a decision that was apt and a request made by us from the count of the votes from the elections. We all saw what happened in terms of how the NDC youth went to vandalize election materials, went to pen pink sheets that have been sealed in boxes, and or in some situations where they have been collated at the centers. One thing that we have to get correct is that not all the 9 constituencies have been declared already. Some of them have not been declared just at all because they have not been collated. So there are coalitions that are ongoing, and these coalition centers have been vandalized. These coalition centers have been interrupted by hoodlums of the NDC, and that is what we're talking about. In areas that declarations have been made, the Electoral Commission is very specific on those matters, that these were done at the request of some of these political parties, and specifically the NDC, and some were asked to choose between their life or their position to become members of parliament. And this is not the country that we know. This is not the democracy that we have all natured. And I believe that this very CI that we are using for the elections is the purpose of which the Electoral Commission is calling that they should be given adequate security, because a party that does not believe in the rule of law, a party that does not believe in the processes, is a party that has won elections, and they want to disrupt everything in this country.
Are you being fair? Are you being fair? Are you being fair and addressing
elections one day?
Haruna,
and they should not cry more than any other person if they lose elections and it comes onto their doorsteps.
Right. Are you being fair in your rhetoric? Are you being objective when you say a party that does not believe in the rule of law, they are rowdy, they engage in thuggery and all of that? You've heard the president-elect talk about the fact that these actions, whatever form they may have taken, are condemnable. They don't support it. The party has come out to say that. So your rhetoric is
so
objective.
What is the question of being fair? Did it happen or it did not? Or what is the definition of fairness? Did it happen or it did not?
I see. So on the back of that, it's the
so it happened. So Benjamin, sometimes that is why when I come on this show, some of your questions, maybe when they are censored, you get to understand that it ought not to be asked. I cannot dictate to you on your
leave that discretion to me.
But the question
you can decide what to answer, but leave the discretion to me.
The question of fairness here is that did it happen or it did not? It happened. Are they belonging to the NDC or not? They are belonging to the NDC. Okay. When we lost elections in 2008, did you see us go to vandalize coalition centers? Did you see us destroy pink sheets? Did you see us do those things? When they lost elections, did you see us brutalize them? Did you see us? But this is the first time we are seeing collation centers that is manned by security, and collation has to be disrupted, things has to be bent. This is what we are seeing. He's saying that if the elections are declared, you have to go to court. You don't need to come and do those things. You should read the CI. You should go and read CI, the CI 127 Regulation 43.
Let me take you the
Regulation 43 to A. These results has to be published, gazetted before you can go to court. The Electoral Commission is telling you that those declarations were not done properly in line with the CI. And that is it. So once it is not done, and that is our position. When we met at Tesano, we made it very clear. But I can see that the NTC is taking a different thing, and they are saying that they are attacking and they are daring people. Let us put it on record. If they want to govern, they should govern. If they want to get a state of anarchy and this country will not be governed, we will help them to do that.
You will help them to achieve a state of anarchy in Ghana, I say.
They should stop it. They should stop warning state institutions as if they own everything. They should stop it. We are living in a democracy where we have to all make sure that we contribute our quota.
Right.
If a state institution is telling you something based on law, and you are saying that you will not agree, and you dare the president, they should stop those things.
All right, hold for me. Hold for me.
All well for us in this country.
Hold for me, Haruna. Hold for me. Let me bring in Dr. Tanko-Computer. How do you react, especially the issue of gazetting has come to the fore, juxtaposing 2020, what happened, and now, what are the differences?
You see, my brother is choosing when it suits them. When it suits them. When it doesn't suit them, they run behind the law and start talking plenty. You know what? The Electoral Commission is a conveyor belt in the matter of parliamentary election. When I say conveyor belt, if you look at the regulation it's referring to, if you come to regulation 43.2, that is where the commission comes in. The business of gazetting is only the commission. That's their business. Their business is to receive the writ and gazette same. They have no business in interfering what writ they have brought to them. Read, and I'm going in public, I won't allow you to read it because they will think that I am the one manufacturing it.
You read it.
I'll read for you. The commission, that's 43.2, the commission shall, on receipt of the endorsed writ, who endorses it? Is it not the returning officer? He endorses and returns it to them. What did they do with it? Publish in the Gazette a notice stating the name of the person elected and the total number of votes cast for each candidate, and inform the clerk to Parliament soon after that of the name of the candidate elected. That's all. Did they say that the commission can validate the results and look at the
recount and all that? Once the collation is done,
a collation is done, and announcement, they have no business. There is to Gazette and inform Parliament. Now they are interfering into an arena they don't have that power. By saying that we are just
stay with me. I want you guys to take it bit by bit. So once collation is done, you know who has won. You go ahead, declare the winner.
Declare the winner. And the Gazette.
Whatever happens after that, if there's a challenge, the person should go to the High Court.
High Court.
Okay, so that's your response.
That is what the PNDC law 284.
Is there anything else you want to say? Because I want to go back to how
what I want
that
to
specific
say,
point.
I want to say is that the NDC is not lawless as they want us to believe. We went to court first. Remember when this matter came and we're at Tesano, we went to court. Our director
filed for a writ.
We filed for a writ, a process to stop the illegality they are doing. We followed up with another writ, filed against the recollation of 5 constituencies. If we're lawless, the thing would have gone to court. Because we realize that what the EC is doing is, look, they are acting ultra vices because they don't have that power. And therefore, we want the High Court to call them to order. Yet, this EC is defying this. When the media met them, you see, they refused to take questions because they wanted to ask them questions about this writ that we have filed. They said they won't take questions. They ran away. They are looking for security to come and help them to involve themselves in this illegality. That is why we are saying, and the law is very simple. Look at the Constitution. If somebody is involved in an illegality and security is not around to prevent it, what do you do? What do? You prevent the person from committing such illegality. That is why we've asked the court. They should respect the court. This morning we are in court. They should come there. They have their lawyers. They should stop this illegality that they are involved. They don't have that power. That is what we are saying.
Look, I think both of you are arguing procedural illegalities or inconsistencies, right? You say that results have been declared, go to court, don't recollate. And they're saying that the processes that led to the declaration in itself is, faulty. And so everybody's asking or looking for a way to fill those gaps that are existing. Now, the Electoral Commission is the body mandated to handle all these issues. And they're saying, to be on the safer side, let's just recollate the results. What could be terribly wrong if they did that?
Dear, you cannot just sit down and manufacture law to yourself. The country is governed by...
Yeah, but you see where I started from. You're all arguing with the law, yes, but you're all talking about inconsistencies. You say that don't recollate because the law says don't recollate. Haruna is saying that the processes that led to the declaration of those results is faulty because some people were, ballot papers were snatched. He's told us the side of the story. Now, the Electoral Commission, who is the head of all this, is saying that to be on the safer side, let's just recollate. What could be terribly wrong? If you are sure that your numbers have not been, tampered with, what could be so wrong if the EC recollates the results? So everyone has clarity and transparency in terms of who actually won the elections in these constituencies.
What was terribly wrong in 2020 when she wrote back to us that if she wouldn't do recollation of Techimasa? What was terribly wrong with that? Is it that because the MPP was winning the seat, that's why she didn't find any reason why she should do the recollation? You see, we have a principle in this country. She wrote back to us based on this regulation 43 of CI system. The procedure was very clear, and that's why she was confident enough to indicate to us that I am not going to do any recollation so long as the declaration was made.
The EC chair is being hypocritical on this matter?
Completely hypocritical. There's no word for that other than hypocritical. Because what they are doing, they are not principled. We must be principled in whatever we are doing. And I'm saying that we are not in the jungle. This country is governed by... She
mentions that at the close of polls on Saturday the 7th, there was a directive by some political party leaders to their supporters to besiege the collation centers of the EC where the collation was taking place. There's a wrong spelling here. The directive to the supporters to besiege the constituency collation centers was targeted at destroying documentary evidence, pink sheets, and it goes on and on. And she says the presence of hundreds of supporters who besieged the collation centers brought proceedings to a standstill in a number of the centers. In some instances, they vandalized and destroyed the desktop computers set up to collate the results electronically. She's saying on the back of some of these, where some of the electoral officers even had to make declarations under duress. Technically in law, if you do something under duress, it is invalid. What's your response to that?
I've just read PNDC law 284, section 20 for you. When such things happens, you know the arena to go. It doesn't lie in the mouth of Madam.
So what you're basically saying is that even if, hold for me, yes, even if there was wrong, there are mechanisms to take care of that wrong, and you are not the one to try and play the role of the court. That's what you're saying.
That is what I'm saying. I'm saying that what they are doing, it doesn't lie in their mouth as commissioners to constitute themselves into judges and determining whether the declaration was so made under duress.
Hold for me. Let me bring in Haruna Mohammed. Haruna, how do you react? How do you react to these statements from
Benjamin?
Yeah.
My brother is a senior member of the NDC. I know the knowledge that he has and how he has followed elections. He has been a director of elections for the northern region for a long time, and I applaud him for that. He knows the process. In 2004, he was in existence. He was a director. I don't know whether still on the director of elections. In Yeji, results were declared for an MPP candidate. Dr. Kojo Afaridan insisted that there should be a recollation because in his belief, the collation was not done based on the laws at the time. Recollation was...
You are talking about what, 2004? Is it 2004?
And a declaration, yes, and a declaration was made for the NDC. So I don't know where this hypocritical stance comes from.
But Haruna, hold for me briefly. Even barring that, the letter of the law, at least as far as CI 127 is concerned, states differently. It is categorical on what ought to be done. So even if it was done in 2004, this is CI 127. This is what it says. You can't apply the same thing here. Hello, Haruna.
I think it's breaking up.
Haruna, are you with me? Haruna, can you hear me? If you can hear me, go ahead. I think the network has an issue. But the point, once we get Haruna back, we'll take his final words on this and go. But the point I was making was, I mean, if in the past it was applied, this is a new CI. This is CI 127. And what it says suggests that you must go to the High Court. In this instance, though, I have a quick question for you. The very first interview Jean Mensa, when she became EC chair granted, was to me, actually, many years ago. And I asked her an interesting question back then. This was, 2016, thereabouts, that would she, no, this was after that. Would she be concerned if she were removed, just as Charlotte Osei was removed? And she said, well, I mean, she had no problem with that. These actions, I've heard some of you in the NDC speak to the issues. Is Jean Mensa setting herself up for removal through these actions? If the NDC...
I will come to that point. But you see, I was happy you were asking my brother.
And, yes. And he's back now, so let him answer the question and then I'll come to you. Haruna, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ben.
Yes, I was merely saying that whatever applied in 2004, we have CI 127 now, and CI 127 says something specific, and you know that. So I don't know why the reference to that, though.
Okay, Benjamin, you know, Doctor is somebody that I believe when I make references to him, he appreciates what I am saying. We are all speaking on the position of the law. The law says, he read CI 127, Regulation 43. He went to Regulation 43(2)(a), and he said you should read it, that the commission shall, on receipt of an endorsed rate.
Right.
I want him to clarify to you what is the rate. Is the rate the same as the pink sheet? And whether there was a rate that was endorsed by the returning officer to the Electoral Commission. There was no rate. Up to now, there has not been rate from the returning officers to the Electoral Commission for them to gazette. We are dealing with pink sheets. He knows that the same regulation, Regulation 39, 3B, we have copies of those pink sheets, irrespective of the destruction, irrespective of the vandalism, irrespective of the way and manner these pink sheets are tempered. We have copies of those particular pink sheets. Again, if you read the same Regulation 43, G or F, each candidate or the representative or counting agent of the candidate complete and sign a copy of the parliamentary election results collation form as set out in Form 1C, and also as also set out in Form 1D, which is the summary. We have copies of these things. Why are we giving copies in the wisdom of the law? We are giving copies because there can be anything that can happen with the original copies. That we can come together with the copies we have, verify them. Do you know the reason why we brought photocopies of those particular documents? Because when you are eating with the devil, you have to eat with a long spoon. You don't go with your hand. Eat with a long spoon. Because these are people who have gone around to destroy pink sheets. We have copies of that, we have scanned them, and we'll keep photocopies, and we'll always retrieve our original copies. The law is the law. Whether the law was 2004, it was the law. The law in 2024 is still the law. And that is the procedure. So let's all agree, let's make sure that the infractions, as reported by the Electoral Commission, who is mandated by law to supervise and make declarations in that intent, tells us that this is what it is. In applicable law, how can you collate results and leave out over 40 polling stations and coerce the person to declare in your favor? Tomorrow, Benjamin, if I contest and I win in five polling stations, I'm able to put the Electoral Commissioner under duress, under a gunpoint, ask him to collate only the 5 and declare
I don't know
for
about
you,
being held
and then
on.
the law will say
at,
that okay,
I
because
don't know
they have
about being
declared
held
for
at
you,
gunpoint.
based on the 5 police stations,
Haruna.
you have to go to court.
Haruna, I don't know about being held at gunpoint, but it also makes sense just in the same way that even before the declaration of the EC on the presidential, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia came out. Because once, if you look at the difference and the rest of the centers to be collated, and if it will not make a difference in the vote in terms of the gap, that is allowed. But Dr. Rashid Tanko, you have the final word, and then answer the bit about
yes,
what you
very
think
well,
about
very well. You see,
Mensa.
in 2004, yes, I was then the regional director, Northern Region, and we recollated some constituencies because the CI made room for recollation. The CI at that time made room for recollation. So that's why
that was the point I was trying to
beautiful, and so that's why I'm saying
now.
that even when we met the IGP and the venerable Macmillan raised that, we told him that look, you are confusing the Electoral Commission with this kind of thing. Those old CIs had made room for recollation. This current CI does not make room for recollation. So you cannot bring that one here and be wasting everybody's time. What you are doing is illegal. It's not in the law. Let's stop it there. Look, the writ is talking about 1B.
You have to be brief.
Yes, the 1B is not given to political parties. So where is my friend getting it from? It means the commissioners are communicating with the MPP. The writ that is sent back by the returning officer to the commission for gazetting is not given to political parties.
So you're saying they are colluding?
It means, where is he saying that it has not been sent?
Because they are in possession of copies of it.
It means, where did they get it from? They don't have it. 1B is not given to any political party. It's a writ given to you to go and conduct election.
But Haruna, where did you get those copies from?
Where did you get 1B? If he has 1B, you should let us know. It means they are colluding with these people.
He made reference to the law, and he says that the writ has to be when it is submitted. And I asked, the pink sheet is what we all
No, Haruna, we don't have time. Just answer for me. Where did you get the Form 1B from? The Form 1B, where did you get it from?
Which one?
The Form 1B he's referencing.
Form 1C and Form 1D is giving copies to parties and county.
No, it's not given. That's the writ. The writ is sent back to the commission. It's not given to parties.
Yeah, so what we are all talking about here is the writ.
So where is he getting it from?
He said the commission shall, on receipt of an endorsed writ. I am asking him, has there been submission of any writ?
All right, gentlemen, we have to end the conversation here. And any response on the Jean Mensah question?
Oh, no, well, I mean, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is not a vindictive type. He's not that type. I mean, what will happen is that everybody will be judged based on your performances and all that as he come in. I mean, he's not that type. That will just say that because you are Jean Mensah, leave the place. That's not it. I mean, when they came, they said it was...
Talking of illegality, I'm asking you that on the back of some of these alleged illegalities.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody will measure based on your performance. Are you getting it? Charlotte was moved based on what? Procurement breaches. Is that not it? If somebody also decides to say that, okay, I've seen that this woman is involved in some illegal activities or some breaches and bring a petition to the president, he's a conveyor belt. They'll look at it. If there's prima facie matter to be looked at. So he's not that type. The president is not a vindictive type. Everybody will measure based on your performance.
Ben, let's wrap. I just wonder if both parties are convinced that this has actually left the desk of the Electoral Commission, then both of them go to court and fix it. But it appears someone is still looking to the Electoral Commission while the other party is looking to the courts. But that's all that time will allow us to
well, Dr. Rashid Tanko-Computer is head of IT and elections, deputy director. Yes, deputy director with the NDC. And of course, we also had the Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, Haruna Mohammed, joining the conversation. Stick and stay with us. We'll be right back.